And hello, everyone. Welcome back to the League of Extraordinary Atheists for Humanism, where we try to apply reason and logic to politics and religion. Hello, Christy.
Hello, Mr. Mac. How are you this evening?
How are you tonight?
I forgot to turn this down.
To the League of
I'm a loser.
And now I hear
Eventually, I will get all of this correct. Yay. I am in the middle of the screen, so we are doing better than we did last week.
All right, so
at
that
least I am.
I thought it was on my phone. How did that even happen?
Because I wasn't paying attention. Not to myself.
It's all good. So we have a few fun topics for everyone tonight. Don't know why I'm looking at my computer so much because I don't have almost anything on there for tonight. So one of the first things that I want to cover, I guess maybe I should ask. I forget what the lineup was. Nacha, what's the first one?
Pokes at ashes.
Yep.
The Pope pokes at ashes. Yes. Pretty much the Catholic Church has been on fire for the last 6 months, right? So since the fires have been lit, the Pope decided to ignore everything until March. Because that's what you should do when there's a fire. But now he's finally coming around. The Vatican is trying to put out the ashes. And they're finally trying to speak out and maybe get a couple policies in place and figure out what to do about all the child rape and molesting that's been going on in the Catholic Church for decades at least, right? So I'm not going to get too far into this because Beelzebub is about to have this panel. But I still wanted to cover it because I did plan on it. So I'm going to touch on it briefly, and then please go subscribe to Beelzebub. We'll have a link to his channel down below, and maybe in the live chat. I can't do anything right now because I'm very limited on.
I will do it.
Computer and such. Thank you, Christy. But I guess there was a group of sex abuse survivors who were going to meet the Pope. I even think it was at his house. It's kind of hard to say because I don't have the whole thing next to me right now. But basically, he stood them up. He delegated. He sent people to talk to them instead of meeting them himself. He's way too holy for that. And yeah, and there's been statements going out like you can't just blame the church. You can't live your life like that. And in doing so, you just have to have the devil in you because that's what we're. It's pretty much. I am very much paraphrasing what was said, which is pretty sick. The good news is though that the church is going to be putting out or is currently trying to put out 21 new policies to help deal with this problem, this fire, right? And these 21 policies are kind of low-hanging fruit, to say the least. The very first one, paraphrasing again, is we're going to put out a policy for the authorities to, so they know how to deal with investigating the church or some shit like that. And you're like, hold on, what?
Yep.
Okay.
They're gonna tell the cops how to do their job.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And then the second to last one is pretty much just the lowest of hanging fruit. Just hey, we're going to provide support for those who have been abused, and we're going to provide information to those who want to make a complaint and like go to the authorities. That's the second to last one. So if that gives you any idea or any interest on what's going on, you should check it out. But also, again, you should check out BML Zabub's channel, I think on Monday, to see the videos that he puts out. I believe I will be featured in that. So also be looking out for me there. Instead, there is some bullshit there, but we are going to move on to the next topic. The next topic is something that excited me very, very much so, and I think also Christy. Are you feeling the burn? Is anyone here feeling the burn? I'm feeling the burn. Speaking of fires,
Definitely.
this is a good fire. Bernie Sanders has finally announced, because it's kind of early, but everyone else has, and their mother, that he will be running for the Democratic candidate for the President of the United States. This is, I think, fantastic.
Definitely.
Why? Because, there's a lot of because when he ran last time in 2016 and was screwed over by the D and Hillary Clinton, his policies got out.
Yeah.
Medicare law, right?
Yeah.
Free college and just marginal tax rates.
Yeah.
This got out and it moved the Overton window to the left. So, we actually have Democrats fighting for Democratic policies now because
Go figure.
Go figure. Because
Go
the
figure.
population of America is all like, hey, yeah, that's a damn good idea. Why aren't you backing that cool guy right there?
Yep.
That guy right there. So, and I mean, I can't remember exactly what they're working on. I know it's on corporations, but Chuck Schumer just went to Bernie Sanders to pass a new bill that they'll be introducing very soon, if they haven't already. And he's one of the heads of the Democratic Party, so that's fantastic. He is getting national attention from the general population and from the Democratic Party. Even though he's a Democratic socialist, he's still a Democrat. They let him jump that line just so he can be in the Democratic race, which is really, really cool. Now, something you need to understand, I think you need to understand about Bernie Sanders, and even though he is giving all of these policies to the whole left, he's been doing this for at least 45 years. Do you remember when he entered in politics, Christy?
I mean, I wasn't really paying attention to politics. I was a child. That's how long ago it was. But
Honestly,
he has been fighting for the people his entire life before he got into politics. He is a real people's champion.
Yes. It's been at least 45 years where he's really been fighting for the rights that now the progressive left fight for today. So if you want to look at someone's record and see if they're consistent, no one is more consistent than Bernie Sanders. Not even Hillary Clinton.
No.
on her consistent bullshit. Right?
She's a consistent maniac.
But she's kind of consistently a maniac, so that's kind of...
Yeah,
but,
there's that.
I said kind
and
of.
Neoliberal.
Yeah. So, take a look at his voting record. Take a look at his activism. It's really fantastic. But the biggest point here is Bernie Sanders has announced that he is going to run for president in 2020. 220.
Yes.
2020.
2020.
I'm like, why am I saying this weird? I think it's just a 2020. There it is. But And a little bit more on that real quick before we switch over. Something else that's really, really cool about him running, because I know I was a little worried, and so were a lot of other progressives, and then kind of progressives. Are people going to feel the burn?
Progressives.
Right?
Right.
Are they going to feel the burn? Can he launch another semi-successful campaign?
Grassroots campaign. Yes.
Grassroots campaign.
Right.
And he can. The answer is he can. Very, very much. To put this in perspective, before I give you the numbers, I believe Kamala Harris, who is kind of being pushed as the front runner for the Democratic Party, she ran. I think she raised $1.5 million in 25 hours, and that was also a grassroots campaign, wasn't it, Christy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, not the same. She still takes corporate funding. Kamala Harris
from the corporations themselves, right?
Yeah.
From like the CEOs, the loophole.
Yeah, the loophole. Yeah.
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 So,
no, she's not a people's champion. She's not the worst. I would take her over Trump yesterday, but nothing compared to what a real progressive should be and the policies that they should fight for.
Yeah, and she's pretty hypocritical when it comes to like weed and stuff. Like, oh yeah, it's absolutely fine. I mean, like, I arrest people for it and like fight for them in prison, but like it's totally fine. Right. So, there is that. But so she raised $1.5 million in 24 hours, and I think that broke a record. Actually, that was really cool. So I'm not taking anything away from Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. Way to go! Yeah. That's fantastic. Bernie about quadrupled that.
Yes.
He raised $5.9 million from well over 200,000 different donors in all 50 states. That's fantastic. People are feeling the burn. And what's more important is people are feeling his policies. They're excited about what he is calling democratic socialism. It's getting less and less scary for everyone. People want Medicare for all. People want to see if they can get free college. People want marginal tax rates. They want the super wealthy to get taxed more than the people in poverty.
Of course.
And they want a Green New Deal, which he supports. So, yeah, that's that. That's the good news of the week, is that he just blew everyone out of the fucking water. This is amazing.
Yes.
And, at that point, at the 24-hour point, he had people signing up to continuously donate. Mm-hmm. Yes. So and to volunteer, but just the
continuous
donations, I think, is another $500,000.
Wow.
And he's gotten more.
So good.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That being said, it's either 62,000 or 63,000. I've heard two numbers now. That's the amount of donations that you need. Like the amount of people you need donating to you to get to the debate stage. So if you like any other of the Democratic nominees, right, for 2020, like Tulsi Gabbard, for instance, who I love, even if you want Bernie to like win and you just want to support him, anyone else who, if you like their opinion, like Andrew Yang, is it Gillibrand?
There's a few of them. Gillibrand.
I was like, it's not Jill. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So don't give her money though.
yeah, don't give her money. Or even Elizabeth Warren.
Yes, give her money.
$1. Give them $1, and that helps them get to the debate stage, and that's what we want. Even Kristen Gillibrand, because like we should hear everyone's voices. right?
Absolutely.
That's what we should really have in this democracy. We should hear everyone's voices, and everyone who has a shit opinion, we should hear those. So, Tulsi, Elizabeth, and Bernie can be like, well, bam, like smack that shit down and give us real policies.
Can you imagine a Bernie Tulsi or Tulsi Bernie ticket? Like, I can't even imagine.
Yes.
Like, if that happened, I don't even know. I would be elated. Yeah, this is something to think about.
I would love for on the debate stage, and this is not going to happen, but like, I would love for like Bernie and Tulsi just to like, they're saying, hey, if one of us doesn't get it,
we support the other one.
Up. Yeah. Like, I'll be vice, she'll be my vice, and also we're going to watch the polls, so one of us is going to drop out, so you can only one of us. That would be awesome. Just make it a fucking power. And like, it would be to some people who really want one or the other, but we need someone with these policies in office. And we can't afford to split the vote, the votes too much, which is sad. But
ranked choice voting, people.
Let's know who you like for the Democratic
candidate nominee. Yeah. Same thing. Candidate nominee.
Candidate for 2020, or let us know if you like a Republican candidate. I would like to do some research on any good Republican candidates out there. I would really like to know their name. But I've been very far like chin deep in the Democratic stuff. So if anyone wants to give me anyone to look up, I would love to.
Yes. And if anybody knows of a Republican candidate that refuses to take corporate money, I would love to learn about that person. That fascinates me, because that's somebody that has a voice worth hearing.
They were, and they are much more rare than a Democrat, which and I would like to stop. Like, I would love to give, like my brother, for instance, some names of some good Republican candidates, so it doesn't look like I'm like a fucking bigot or something, right? like I want to know some good Republican politicians. That would be awesome.
I'm curious too. I mean, I am. I would read anything anybody sent me, and I would read it with an open mind. But I do have a litmus test, if you will. Corporate money. I'm not going to vote for you if you take it. If you don't support health care for every citizen, whether it be Medicare for all, which is the best. It works so well. Why don't we just every year add? From now it's 65, let's go down to 55. In a year, let's go down to 45. In another year, let's go down to 35. And, I just think that that's the smart way to do it. Other countries have done it that way, albeit many, many, many decades ago, when everybody was implementing in a healthcare for all in their nation. So my litmus test, I just don't. I mean, surprise me. That would be awesome if you could surprise me. I just don't feel that somebody that is conservative right now would be able to pass that test of not accepting corporate money and not accepting dark money. Like, I don't want anything to do with you if you're taking dark money. Get out of here.
For real.
Yeah.
I agree with that. So please, someone surprise us. I would like to know some good politicians on the other side, or relatively good. So I believe Christy has stuff on social democracy, but I'm going to lead into that. Yeah. So I think I'm going to continue, take half the show myself, and then I'll let you just hammer it home, pretty much. So our next main topic here. Sorry.
I was just going to ask which topic we were going into.
Yes.
AOC.
And I love what you did with the graphic.
AOC. I do too. Nacha is a gem. He's such a gem.
So the only part I've scripted, because I should tell everyone. All right. In January of 2000, and Are we in 19? Oh, my goodness. It's freaking crazy. I don't know. Something crazy happened.
Yeah.
We had a Democratic socialist sworn into Congress. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez beat Joe Crowley of the New York 14th Congressional
District.
Congressional District. Thank you for helping me with my leg.
Yay!
Something that hadn't been done in 12 years. Joe Crowley had been there for a while. But how did she do it? How did she get this, or how did the seemingly nobody beat a representative from the same Democratic Party? Well, the answer is grassroots movements, bold progressive policies, populist policies, and understanding of being a regular citizen and poverty, and a big mouth. She is very really narrowing it down. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is one of us. She is a people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? She's a people for the people, for real.
Yes.
And there's a lot of smears that go around about her. And yeah, of course.
Of course.
A lot of people don't like progressivism.
Right.
And that's kind of sad. It's sad for us because a lot of these views are the most humanist views in politics. Is the problem is. And
I agree.
Sometimes I
agree
with or sometimes I have to agree with some of the things that people say about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez because sometimes she says stupid things. Again, it's a people.
And she's 29.
Yeah, and I'm 29 until like 2 days. So look how stupid we are. I can't even talk. But one of the things that she has said recently is that climate change is our World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, she meant World War III, right? Like, that's a slip. But everyone, like, from the right, blows that shit up. I
didn't get that. I didn't get that. I understood it exactly how she said it. It's our version of World War II. I get it. The whole world is involved. Everybody's going to be affected. I get it. I did not understand the... People need to, like, have a hobby or something. Get a hobby. Like, do something.
Right. People, like, need to, like, stop skipping the point is like, what this is, right?
That wasn't the point. Exactly.
She said that, and in the same sit-down, she said that the world's going to end in 12 years. Like, okay, well, the world's not going to end in 12 years. No. We are going to have irreversible catastrophic events in 12 years. It is fine to say in a nuanced way, the world's going to end in 12 years, right?
Right,
like,
and she was being hyperbolic.
Say what?
She was being hyperbolic. I mean, she was making a point. Like, the world as we know it is going to be over. They just like to nitpick at her because they cannot argue her policy. No way. No way, no how. So they have to pick apart her personal self, and it's just deplorable.
Right, and like Ben Shapiro can try as hard as he wants to, but he continues to fail. But I talk fast and I'm Jewish. I know. Sanders is Jewish too. And he talks real slow.
Yeah, he does.
Anyways, I kind of like that because I can put all of his videos on like 1.75 speed, and it's great.
Zip right through.
Him and Sam Harris. Oh.
I love it.
Yeah, so do I. Mm-hmm. So a little bit of background real quick on Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I want to tell you a couple fun facts, and I want to tell you just a little bit about her policies. We'll start with her policies, and one that's really just like her own. The Green New Deal. If you guys have heard about the Green New Deal, it's actually pretty rocking. If you don't know what it is, it's easy not to like it because of all the like bullshit that gets thrown on it. And if you hear just a little bit of it, it sounds very progressive in a way that doesn't really ring true for everyone, especially like someone who tries to be a skeptic. Like in the outline for this bill, because it's not a bill yet, but it's an outline. It talks about basically, like saving the environment, right? It talks about putting restrictions on corporations, putting restrictions on cow buttholes. And I'm saying it.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Tongue in cheek. Cow buttholes must be plugged. And you're not going to be allowed to drive cars, and they're going to regulate any cows. You're not allowed to have cows anymore. Donald Trump is just the worst when it comes to the Green New Deal. It's really easy to take out of context. And then the final thing that's in this bill is that it has like, what's the word I'm trying to look for? It has real progressive, like, oh damn, I can't think of the word. I'm awful. What's wrong with me? For people of all sexual orientations, race, age,
right.
like
protection
for everyone. Like, it exclusively goes through, and it talks about pay gaps. It talks about minorities. It talks about racism.
Right.
And you're like, hold on. Wait. When I heard that part, it clicked for me. Like, okay, that's kind of weird. I really would just like a bill to just focus on, like it's called the Green New Deal, but I wanted to focus on the environment. But when I listened to something on The Intercept, it was the Intercept Spoken Only.
Yes.
It's a separate channel. I'll try to link this down below soon. But Jeremy Scahill, he breaks it down completely and beautifully, and it's actually written really, really well. It's actually that stuff is in there for a really good reason, because when we fix problem A, it is going to help problem B, C, and D. Is the thing. It's going to create a lot of jobs that a lot of minorities can jump into. It's going to help the entire economy if we push the whole country forward to new renewable clean energy. So I highly recommend everyone to check out The Intercept, where he actually just goes through the outline for this bill and tells what it is.
It's not a bill. It's not a bill. Right.
It's not a bill.
It's not. So that's why it's okay that so much is in it. It's not a bill. It's hey, this is what we should freaking be doing. And we should start yesterday.
Yeah, yesteryear, really.
I agree.
So there's that. I would like to throw a fun fact in, since I said that. Ocasio-Cortez has a small asteroid named after her, 2323-8 Ocasio-Cortez, which is super cool. She got that. She won a second prize in the Intel International Science and Engineering Fair with a microbiology research project that focused on the effect of antioxidants on the lifespan of nematode C. elegans. and her and show of like appreciation on her efforts, the International Astronomical Union named a small asteroid after her. So that's pretty
so
cool.
awesome. That's pretty cool.
So back to less fun things about her. I thought all of this is actually really fun. Her policies are really, really awesome, and yeah, it's cool. Wikipedia, which I'm on right now, actually has a really good setup for her. It actually lists her policies. It doesn't try to prop her up. It doesn't try to bring her down. It looks like it's a really good source, and it has all of her political positions, which you don't find for a lot of politicians. But there's 8 basically different sections. There's education, environment, tax policy, immigration, healthcare, LGBTQ, equality, Israel-Palestine conflict, Puerto Rico. She has a say in all of this, and it's out there. It's out there, and it's clear, and that's fantastic for a politician. Like, what, 4 years ago, 2 years ago, everywhere in there, I'm just like, oh, wow, I would like to hear what any of these candidates are for. Because you don't hear, you do hear what they're against often, and that's a red flag for me now, is when I know what they're against, but I don't know what they're for. If you don't know what a politician is for, fuck that politician. Like to me,
right?
I even don't care if they don't take corporate PAC money. If they don't tell me what they're about, still fuck you, bro. Or miss, like, fuck out of here. I don't care. Don't need to vote for you. Don't know what to vote for. Policy is what's important. And she is very, very outspoken. But always look for a little bit of nuance with her, and look for small, stupid things that she says that are like easy, stupid things to say. People just make that blow up, and it's stupid. It's a smear.
Agree.
There was one more thing that I wanted to share about her. I don't want to go into her personal backstory so much, like her family life or anything. I can say that her father has passed away. I think that was in 2008. And that caused a big old battle over his estate.
Yeah.
Her mother and her had a really long battle, like, against the government over like her father's estate, and that's sad and hard. And I think that really called her to action a lot. And like, banks tried to like foreclose on her mom's house and a whole bunch of really shitty shit. But I don't really want to focus on any kind of sob stories or whatever. I'm not trying to win you over by any kind of sad part of this woman's life. Her activism is what's important. Her policies are what's important. So what I do want to go over real quick is why she's here. Why she's here is because she has great policies. Why does she have great policies? Because of Bernie Sanders. In short, in the 2016 primary, Alexandria worked as an organizer for the Bernie Sanders 2016 presidential campaign. After the general election, she traveled across America by car, visiting places such as Flint, Michigan, and Standing Rock Indian Reservation in North Dakota, and speaking to people affected by the Flint water crisis and the Dakota Access Pipeline. Two things that Christy and I care about an awful lot.
Yes.
Especially the Access Pipeline, because that's something that kind of really threw our butts into gear to start paying attention to politics, because we are invading a sovereign nation. Step one.
Yep.
So there's that. But in an interview, she recalled her visit to Standing Rock as a tipping point, saying that before that, she had believed that the only way to effectively run for office was when you had access to wealth, social influence, and power, like already baseline. But her visit to North Dakota, where she saw others putting their whole lives and everything they had on the action of their community, like some people sold their houses and jumped ship and went to hell. It was a really beautiful that we really got fucked over on, and I do blame Donald Trump for that, because he did stop the stop that Obama had put in place. He signed legislation like his second day in office to push this forward, and invade a sovereign land that there isn't much of for the Native Americans. But that inspired her to work in her own community. And that to me seemed that's something that made me care about politics more around that time. I think that's really influential. I think it's really uplifting to see that someone like Christy or I, or anyone else who cares about politics and policies and just what's going on in current events, can land straight into Congress. That's amazing.
Right.
She's one of us, because she's really one of us. 3 years ago,
she is,
and probably less of a good financial state than either of us. And look where she is now, and it's because she's got a big mouth, and she cares about shit that other people care about. So I hope you take from this part of our story tonight that you can make a difference. You can make a difference. We can make a difference, hopefully. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons that I really like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Not just her policies, but why she gives a shit. And now, pretty much, onto her policies. What is she? She is a social democrat, a democratic socialist. There's a small difference, but I think Christy's going to cover all that.
Yes. Okay. No, Scandinavia is not a country in our chat. That's funny. Scandinavia is an area, and they are doing equal of capitalism and socialism. Their capitalism is not unfettered. It is very regulated and taxed in a very wonderful marginal way. You know, everybody from this point of pay to this point of pay is this much, no matter how big you get. And then the next up and the next up. And that's just the way to do it. I think that they got us beat when it comes to just, commenting to things that are going on in the chat. I think that if anybody wants to look up, there is quite a few documentaries on Norway, on Finland, on Switzerland. They're kicking butt when it comes to human happiness and education and long life and health of people and the things that matter, those things. Just a few little things, like all the things that matter. Okay, so my humanist view on social democracy. I think that social democracy has to once again learn how to fight battles of the kind that social democracy has fought in the past. We are living in a society where the gap between the wealthy and the haves is widening so very rapidly. And it's not going to get smaller on its own. We have to work together. We are dealing with higher energy costs and higher food prices. And don't even get me started on the housing issues, whether it be homelessness or owning a home. It doesn't matter. There's so many issues. And later, there's the crisis. And there's the crisis as well of the relationship between the United States as an economy with the profound indebtedness with in every direction, and its relationship with China. We are at a crossroads. We are at a crossroads. That's so huge. And I think that history will look back at this time and see that we were at a crossroads. The crisis that we are going through now is not some minor crisis. It's a profound crisis that's going to change the structure of the global economy. And I think that the ideas of the last 25 years, neoconservative and neoliberal ideas of this period, are hopefully being thrown in the garbage heap of antiquated, unworthy, horrible ideas. These ideas are unworthy for an egalitarian society that I would like to live in. I think that we have to go forward into a new vision of what a more egalitarian society is going to look like. It's clearly got to be an environmentally sound society. It's also got to be a society that comes to terms with the energy problems.
Roboting a little bit.
Come to terms with them. We're roboting. Let's see.
That's better now.
Send a heart. That worked last time. Yeah, I don't know. I give the computer a heart and it works. Okay. We also have to figure out ways to get massively large pools of capital out of the hands of those who now control them and into more socially controlled systems. This could be through people who work in a plant. It could be through province or a municipality or a community or the federal government, or even through co-ops, or all of the above. One of the great issues of the 21st century is going to be who controls these great pools of capital that exist in the world and are now in the fewer and fewer hands every single year. Because allowing the mobility for capital holders to simply say, to hell with you if you're going to have strong environmental laws, or to hell with you if you're going to demand that we actually pay workers a living wage. To hell with these regulations. We, the big capital holders, are going to go to another place, another country, another land where we can get away with these abuses. This is not viable for a 21st century egalitarian society. So, the future. Moving forward, socialism. Well, it is a word that used to be a filthy, dirty commie word, especially here in the US. But now, with many young Americans completely strapped with debt and disenfranchised with mainstream media and politics, and everyone uncertain about their economic future, socialist ideas might just be a breath of fresh air. So what is this new political movement? And is social democracy even new? Why did I, an American citizen raised by a conservative family, choose to join DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America? Well, I've seen what the current system does to people and how much people are struggling. And things aren't getting better for the 99% of us. I have seen the wealthy get more wealthy, and I've seen the justice system hold two sets of laws, one system for the wealthy and another for everyday citizens like myself. I've seen much, much more as well. The DSA, Democratic Socialists of America, now has over 65,000 members. And nationwide, they have 167 branches, a number that has surged since Bernie Sanders' presidential run in 2016. And unlike 2016, Democratic Socialist candidates are winning. They're winning all over the country. From national victories like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or what we call her, AOC, to Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar, to races at all levels of our government, local. Oh gosh, these grassroots movements, what they did, the DSA, was look at the Tea Party movement and how they did local everywhere, because they just needed to get people in, and they're following it to the T, and it is working. It is working. It's wonderful. It's enough to cause panic in both the GOP and within the Democratic Party, especially the corporate blue dog Dems, who prefer to keep the status quo. They're doing so well for themselves. Why would they want to change? Carlos Ramirez Rosa. I don't know if any of you have heard of him. He's quite a significant person. He's pretty awesome, and He's a huge humanist. He's the councilman and alderman, Chicago's 35th ward. He's also a democratic socialist. He won knowing that people were scared of what they do not understand. So he never talked about being a member of the DSA. It never came up. He talked about policy and what policies he would stand by. He talked about policies that people cared about and what he would do to help them. Sometimes, he said, people get confused by a label. So stand up to the big corporate polluters and corporations. And
you're a robot again.
Yeah. What about now?
But,
okay.
Yeah, it looks better now. I would like to say something on that though, real quick.
Go for it.
Because I think that's a really, really important point. Sometimes people get confused and scared of labels, right? And this is something I'm really, really, really happy that we're covering. Any form of socialism, because it too, like atheism, very much like atheism, is
absolutely
just fucking demonized to no end. And most people, most like laymen, don't even fucking know what it means.
No, they think communism is the same as socialism. It's all the same to them. You're a commie. They're totally different, by the way.
Right. It's like, when you say you're an atheist, some people are like, oh, okay, so you like worship the devil?
Yep, I've heard that.
Hold on. Not quite. And I would like, and I know we're not just talking about pure socialism right now.
Right.
Can I take a second and just read the definition and why I want to read the definition?
Go for it.
Okay.
Right.
Socialism, for those of you who don't know, is a political and economic theory of social organization that advocates that the means of production, distribution, and exchange should be owned or regulated by the community as a whole.
Right.
That does not mean government takeover. That does not mean totalitarianism. It means that people should own the government.
Right.
That means the community as a whole. That means the people. When I capitalize the people, I think socialism. That's what it's for. And we're for social democracy, right? So you add democracy in there, which is pretty much like you don't even kind of need to, really, if you actually go by what socialism's supposed to be. Every time it's gone wrong, it's because we've used bloodshed to get there. That's the problem. We use totalitarianism to reach socialism and force it on people. But if you use democracy because people want it, then it has the ability to work.
Yeah.
Completely different means. So, yeah, there's that. I thought that was important because I've had a lot of socialism fights on my Facebook because
I'm sure.
So, way to go,
I'm
Bernie.
Sure. Okay, let's see. I'll just hit that little heart and make sure that we stay connected. Okay.
I love it.
He said that he was going to stand up to big corporate polluters and corporations that were too powerful in City Hall. And that he also said he was going to make sure that public dollars benefited the public schools, benefited the community, and that he would invest in after-school programs, job programs, mental health services, and expand Medicaid. He also stated that it wasn't until after he was elected on his own merits that he said, I am a democratic socialist. You see, people that want to tax the highest earners and people that want the international corporations to pay their fair share, and people that want to protect immigrants and stand up for women's rights and workers' rights, well, these people are already voting in massive numbers for the Democratic Party candidates. So I say, let's actually give them what they really want. Let's give them democratic socialists to vote for, candidates that are actually going to deliver the policies that the Democratic Party should stand for, but falls so very short year after year after year. We should not be afraid to call out corporate Democrats if they take corporate funds. They are beholden to their donors. If candidates vow to take only donations from the people of this nation and the constituents that they will be representing, they are beholden only to these people, not corporations. The Democratic Party is very much tied to the establishment and the money interests. And in many cases, the Democratic Party are the establishment. The establishment Democrats are absolutely terrified of this movement and the DSA members themselves. Also, the Justice Democrats also are revolution candidates. They all have the power of the American people behind them. And all of these groups have vowed not to take a penny of corporate funding. All these inspiring young social Dems running for office and winning, it does feel like a new beginning and a new breath of fresh air. But is social democracy or socialist or democratic socialism even new to this country? Socialism in America and throughout the industrialized world first took root in trade unions and in a movement to protect and advance the rights of workers during the Industrial Revolution. It is as American as apple pie. Chicago was once the center of industrial revolution, and along with explosive growth and profits that come with that, came a whole lot of exploitations. People were working 16 plus hours a day, 7 days a week, living in horrid conditions, working in worse conditions. None of it was safe. People died at work all the time. When a movement called the 8-hour movement was started, this is socialism. That's what that is. 8 hours for work, 8 hours for sleep, and 8 hours to do with what you like was their slogan. Look up labor history, just labor history, and just have fun reading. Open your mind to the facts of this movement by and for the workers, by and for the people. One of the most important and influential historical events of our last 100 years through this whole country, like this for labor movement, this particular labor history, it's not even spoke about really in our public schools. And that's the problem. That's why socialism and socialist democracy cannot grab a footing throughout history until now. This historical event is called the Haymarket Rally. That's another one, also a workers' movement. The Haymarket Rally, or a fair, happened when a labor protest in support of the 8-hour workday turned violent, ultimately ending in the deaths of 4 activists. But this event was a tragedy in many, many other ways, not just the senseless deaths of the 4 humans that were fighting for human dignity. But it also set back the working class movement for a long while, using a classic propaganda move like the Red Scare. Red Scare tactics meant portraying socialist ideas as somehow foreign, un-American. Back in the day, calling for free health care, oh my gosh, you would get accused of being an agent of the Soviet Union. Are you kidding me? And the only good communist is a dead communist, or so the saying goes. Today, though, you will be accused of wanting to turn the United States into Venezuela. But how foreign is the concept of socialism? I'd like everybody to note a book by an author named John Nichols. The book is titled The S Word, A Short History of an American Tradition of Socialism. It's fantastic. America has always had socialist or a social democratic presence, going back to our founding of the country. In the very first years of this republic, Thomas Paine wrote a pamphlet called The Agrarian Justice in 1797. So even before the word socialism was being used, we had people advocating, even our founding fathers, for solutions to problems that involved redistribution of wealth. In the 1890s through the start of the 1900s, America saw a great economic downturn right around 1893. But we also see the Gilded Age, the incredible inequality of this time. Socialism was the means of changing these massive inequalities. Socialist movements arose. In the 30s, we see a similar story, the Great Depression, of course, but also immense wealth surrounded by great poverty. And Roosevelt, Teddy, started talking about harsh disparities, as did other leaders here in this country. Socialist movements arose. And so, again and again throughout history, what we have seen are moments where economic turbulence and technological change, the combination of the two, has caused people to pause and say, hey, who's got an idea here? Who's got a solution for the circumstances that we are finding ourselves in today? And today, socialism is arising. The wealth is concentrated and not distributed properly. The power is concentrated and not distributed properly. It's not appropriate and it's not fair. We are oppressing huge amounts of some people while empowering others already at the top. Americans are hurting. People are not being able to have a place to live. Like I can't walk by a homeless person and not feel for that person. And I don't ever think, ugh, what did they do to get there? Ever. What an awful thing to think. People aren't being able to access healthcare. People are literally dying because their GoFundMe, there are many stories like this, to get their insulin fell $50 short. Or they tried to cut their medication supply down so low they ended up in the hospital. And who can pay for that when they don't have insurance? So it really is a matter of life and death for too many of our brothers and sisters. This is why I believe so much in what social democracy can do for the people of our nation. Democratic socialism is about treating others like human beings. It's humanist by its very nature, and respecting the struggles that everyday Americans are facing economically and trying to come up with answers to help the most people and to hurt no one. And I'm not talking about the bottom line of some multinational corporation. That's not hurting them. And I do see in the contemporary social democracy movement of right now, a lot of humanist policies and efforts, humanist efforts, and they are working. And they are making my heart pound with so much happiness. I see a lot of young activists who are going out and making very practical connections with other people, and those people are making connections. You and I are making connections. We're doing this podcast. It's all in the name of helping our brothers and sisters, which in the very nature is social democracy. Let's keep this going. Let's keep doing this. And if we keep doing this, my spidey senses say that this movement is one here to last. And dsausa.org. Check it out. Founded in 1982. I became a member about 7-8 months ago.
Well said. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I put a little history in there. Yeah. Sorry I was breaking up. Hopefully it will only be a couple more weeks before I have a machine that won't do this to us anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here.
Yeah.
I don't think mine's skipping so much, but I'm not on my phone. I'm usually using my phone for notes or the chat, but I can't. I'm using an old computer to do the chat, and I'm on my wife's account. I'm trying to get on mine. Still. So, and Lindsay's in bed. I will.
Yeah, she'll see it someday.
So what you're saying is that when Lindsay was in the chat earlier, and I was like, "Oh, hey, Lindsay, that was you."
Yeah, that was me.
Here I got all excited, thinking, "Oh, look, it's Lindsay." No,
just Mac. Don't get too excited. Just Mac. Boring old Mac. I'm trying to sign in as myself real quick so I can drop a link.
Do we want to hit up the community section?
Yes, that is what I want the link for. Yes. So, next up, community news. Sorry, I'm so close. um. I guess first up, I'll work on the link later. Chrismer. A lot of us
Yes.
here in the chat know Chrismer. He's having trouble with his bills. And as I said before, we do want to focus on charity and the community. Because that's something I don't think we have quite enough of in our atheist community. So I really want to try to community build and for like a charitable way. I will be putting that in the chat soon. Maybe Nacha can do that if you have the link. But he has a GoFundMe right now for his build. The goal is I think it's about 1,200. He has quite the goal he needs to get to that he needs help with.
Right. It's for his electricity, right? Electricity and food. He needs food to eat too.
I had a chat to him overnight, whatever the timing is for them. Where I think they only need $60 for this week to have it not get cut off again, because they've some of the donations obviously were enough that he could throw $100 in. That was enough to have their water turned back on, because it's water as well. Like, can't cook because most of the stuff needs water. Can't go to the bathroom because you need water. And so at least then he's gonna have water, and then if we can get him that $60 at least, that'll cover him to keep the water running, and then hopefully we can help out with that electricity bill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty important. Also, do we know if
times are hard?
Godless Iowan reached his goal for his car wreck?
Last I heard, he was just over
I don't think he did.
Halfway?
I don't think he did.
I don't think he did either. So for those of you who don't know, was it a drunk driver?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think it was a drunk driver. It was just they weren't paying attention. They ran a stop sign.
Yeah, and they had T-boned him. And they had to use an ice pick to get him out.
He T-boned them.
Yeah, he T-boned them.
Oh, he T-boned
Godless
them.
Iowan was heading down the highway, and there were side streets that had stop signs on this one old Iowa highway, one lane each way. And so he was doing the speed limit, which, is 55 or whatever on this highway. And at a stop sign where somebody that was supposed to stop at that stop sign didn't. So they went through and T-boned them. And it wasn't his fault, and he's very fortunate to not be hurt.
Yes.
But his car is not fortunate. His car's
very hurt.
It went bye-bye.
Yeah. Yep. It's pretty messed up. So those are two of the GoFundMes that we have going on in the community currently. So if you guys are able to help without throwing yourself into too much debt,
of course,
please go check out their GoFundMes. They should be linked below. If not now, very.
Also
they will be
as well, because I know she still needs some help.
Who was it you said?
Lady Unicorn.
Oh yes, Lady Unicorn. Can one of you go through that one real quick? Because I heard of it, but I didn't get to look at it yet.
Can you, Christy? I'm getting the link.
Yep. Lady Unicorn. I think I will go to Twitter and get that, right?
Oh, I was getting the link. I was hoping you could tell them to find people what she needed. Like she's how much is it? I know she got a couple grand already in there for basically finding a new house, or a new living for her and her family. Because the place she's at now is basically, if you imagine some pieces of scrap placed in the vague shape of a building, that's where she lives. It's rather sad, and we really just need to help. It's not a huge goal or anything. Well, it's it is a moderate goal, but it's not unachievable. And
Right.
we've already had a lot of help. Like, I think we're, as I said, a couple grand on our way. So, you know, yeah, it's looking good. We just need to keep working at it.
Yeah.
There it is, Lady Unicorn's information.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I've never done that before. Got a link from another ever. That was my first time.
Good job, Chris.
Yay!
And Mark confirmed that GI is at $1,021 out of the 2,000 wanted. So he's definitely a bit over halfway,
Nice.
but still got a bit to go.
All right.
Right.
Well,
He's not asking for,
Thanks, Bubs.
you know, a $20,000 car. He's asking for a car that won't break down on him.
He's
That's
just
all.
getting something that can get him from A to B. So.
Right. And he deserves it. I love that human. I love that human so stinking much. For real. I would be so very upset if anything ever happened to him or Snarky. They're such good people. Funny.
Yeah.
Oh my God. They're so funny. Yeah.
It is one.
We'll cry. I
one
hope that happens to
funny
them. I can't even think about it.
Don't do it. Don't think about it. Yeah. Shadow Taiwan's a really, really awesome guy. I am currently trying to get him on the show for one of our Extraordinary Atheist episodes. We have a scheduling conflict because he does his show around the same time that we do, so we're trying to figure that out now. But we'll see if we can get him on real soon. So look forward to that. And what else do I want to go over? Oh, yes, the thing. Comment of the week for last week. And I actually doing last week. The thing.
Be humanist for God's sake.
Be humanist for God's sake. I'm so glad you said that. I might have forgotten.
We need T-shirts that say that. That's amazing.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that. So last week, if you didn't catch it, we had an interview of Neil, the Extraordinary Atheist. He's the 604 Atheist. If you don't know him, you should. He's super fantastic. He does really good deconversion interviews on his channel, and he is a blood donator. He donates a shit ton of blood. He also organizes people to go and donate blood. So he really does. He really deals a lot in blood, and he doesn't have to kill anyone. So a sign of a real humanist. But we got a comment last week. We got a few comments, and I wanted to read one specifically. From CH2517 Joan. She says, at Neil the 604 Atheist, you're not a nobody. Don't you ever say that again. Even without your selflessness, you are not a nobody. You're Neil, the amazing, fun, compassionate, creative, and expressive atheist with a hell of a lot of life experience. And I agree. I think I missed when he said he was a nobody, but you best not do it again, because you've been called out, my friend. So CH517 Joan, thank you for your comment. Please, everyone, comment down. Helps us out, and I like to see people commenting down below. I can get involved if you guys have questions, especially about socialism or social democracy or democratic socialists. And I do have a challenge. I have a challenge for everyone. This is a very skeptical question for you. If you are afraid of socialism, if you don't like socialism, we'll say, tell me one good thing about it. Tell me one actual good thing about this thing you don't like. Because if you can't even tell me one thing that's good about socialism, this ideal that many, many people seem to really, really like for apparently no reason at all, then I don't think you understand.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my challenge to you this week. If you have any questions, please comment down below. Tag Christy or I, tag Nacha, tag anybody you want at all, but mostly me or Christy, and we'll try to involve the conversation down below. And please ask us questions, or give us your rebuttals on why socialism's just total bullcrap and it murders people. But yeah, please get involved down below because we love hearing from you. Nacha, Christy, do you have anything else to add before we close out for the night?
I really like tonight's show. I love these topics. I love talking about people that are doing good things. I love talking about people that do their work in the political world with policy. That I'm a policy junkie. I don't care who you have sex with. I don't care if you do it upside down with a group of people dressed as monkeys. I don't care. But if your policy is where it needs to be, I'm going to vote for you, and I'll even wear a monkey suit to show up to vote for you. Like, whatever it takes. Like, policy is everything. And if we could get rid of the rhetoric and focus on the definitions of things and what things means and how we can implement them. Brain fart. Implement, exactly. Yeah, tonight was a great show. I love talking about ideas in social democracy or democracy. Different times. One's from early 1900s, one's from the Labor Party of the 30s, and one's now. Every time stuff like this happens in the world, especially in countries where people are free, people are free to protest, to speak their mind, you're going to see social democracy come up, because why wouldn't you? Democracy is great. Everybody gets their vote in. I'm gung-ho for democracy. I am gung-ho for taking care of people. And I would never want an anti-capitalist world. And I would never want an all-socialist country. And I would never want an all-capitalist country that we have now. That's not good for everyone. And I'm not...
Everything in moderation.
Everything in moderation. Everything. Even... Well, no, not even monopolies. Monopolies, to me, and my crazy radical butt, I don't agree with them at all. I think that they need to be completely demolished, but that could be another story.
I think monopolies are just not moderation. I think
not at all. No, it's like hoarding. They're trying to hoard as much stuff as they can. Yeah, I don't agree with it. And to me, social democracy is the antithesis of monopolies. It's the opposite of that. It's saying, no. You have too much money and too much power. You can still be this guy that has these names, sure, but we're going to give the power back to the people that work for you. We're going to let them have a say in what they do. And I mean, it could be as easy as letting the people that work in a plant get to vote on things instead of the CEO saying this is how things going to be. Tiny little things like that make a huge difference in the world. And I think that we should all try to. How can you be happy and comfortable and well-fed if you have to drive by people that aren't? I can't get over that. I can't walk past people that are starving knowing that in my bag I have a banana. They're going to get the banana. And I don't think that you should give away. I wouldn't give the banana away if I didn't have more food at home. Like, that's not what social democracy is. And I do implore all of you to look up that book. I will, of course, send it to our Yahweh in Australia. And then he can post all of the things for you. But the book, The S Word, what is that? John Nicholas, The S Word. I mean, what a great book. And it goes over the history of the S Word. And also look up labor movements, because wherever there's disparities and a whole lot of wealth and a whole lot of poverty, socialism is going to come up because people are sick of it. It's not fair. And I don't live in a dream world where everybody gets everything. That's dumb. I'm not advocating for that at all. You got to work for your stuff. You've got to deserve your things. But I don't think that people have to deserve to eat. And I don't think that people have to deserve to get health care. That's horrible. What a Scrooge McDuck way to live. So no, that's not me. I'm a big old hippie. What can I say?
I know, but we love our local hippie.
Yes, your very own hippie. the hippie of LEAH, the LEAH hippie. And that was all. Tonight was a great show. I love stuff like this. These are great topics.
I love this too.
And I love you.
Research you did. You love me?
Yes.
I love you too. I love you too.
And I love Natcha, and I love all of you.
All right.
Yes.
If that's all, I think we're going to close up the show. No objections? All right. Fantastic. Great. Thank you, chat, for joining in live tonight. This was awesome. We had a few fruitful. Speaking of fruit, someone was mentioning but the Banana Man. Full discussions down in the live chat. Please share this out on Facebook and Twitter and Discord if you're on that. And make sure you comment down below if you watch this later. And make sure you do the equivalent of giving us a high five in real life and just give this a like and subscribe because that's awesome. And you're awesome. And we love you guys. So thanks for joining in. And
be humanist for God's sake.
Yes, she said it. Good night, everyone.
Bye.